Hey, it's Captain Matt, Boater's Secret Weapon, and today we're talking about what to look out for when you're buying a used boat. We're looking at the top 5 things that are the big issues to look for when buying a used boat. The first one, you've probably seen it if you've looked at some used boats, is the mold and mildew. Here's the thing to think about with the mold and mildew is once it gets started in the upholstery, it's there. You're not getting rid of it. You can use your Clorox and some bleach, and you can throw that at it, and it'll help. But those spores are under the upholstery into the cushions, and all it's going to take is a little bit of dampness and some warmth, and that will start growing again. It can be very, very difficult to get rid of. Now, you can make it look better. You can spice it up a little bit, but just understand that it's always going to be there, and it's going to take some dedication to keep it at bay. So just keep that in mind as you're looking, and look at those cracks and crevices. Look in between where the cushions come together, where the seat cushions pull out, anywhere there's a kind of a pleat in that upholstery, check in those areas. We talk a lot about this in some of the other videos on how to inspect a used boat. The next is water intrusion. It can come from a number of different spots. The transom is probably the most common, and it can also happen on the decking, get into the stringers in the floor through a screw hole for the seat base, through somebody put a hole screw in and didn't seal it back up. But it can also come just on the exterior where there's a through hull fitting, and it can get in a number of areas. So you want to make sure that you're looking for that, because unless you're looking for a project boat where you know, hey, I'm going to tear this out, I'm willing to put the time, the effort, I've got the skills, I've got the know-how, I've got the tools to do all of it. It all can be done, and it's not super difficult, but it is very time intensive. It's very dirty work in a lot of cases, and you can watch other channels that have done a lot of that. But just be aware that water intrusion, especially in the transom, the floor, and anywhere there's a through hull fitting, is an area to look out for. Talk about how to do that in some of the other videos. The next is wiring. Now, in a bow ride or in a fiberglass boat like that, a lot of the wiring is sort of hidden. If you get some fraying, if you get some chafing, or you get a critter in there and you have a wiring issue, it can be very, very difficult. If under your helm it looks like kind of a rat's nest, or in by the batteries, this one looks pretty good, but if it looks like a rat's nest and wires are coming in and going, and they're not really attached properly, there's not fuses in the right spot, can be very difficult. It's why in the inspection videos, if you watch how to buy a used boat video or center console or whatever, we talk about running every single system when you're out on the water, so that you don't get in a situation where you find a short. It's working fine when it's sitting on the trailer, but when you put it in the water and that boat's kind of rocking back and forth, or you're running it, now those shorts can kind of come and go, and they can be very, very difficult to diagnose. And then once you do diagnose it, now if you've got to run a new wire, in some boats it can be more challenging than others, depending on the manufacturer. Next is the trailer. Don't forget the trailer. If you're a trailer boater, you can have rust on the axles, on the leaf springs. Your bunks can be rotten. You can have brakes that are going to fail. Don't forget that. You get so hung up on the boat and what we'll get to next that you sort of forget that trailer could be a very, very expensive piece of the transaction that is sort of an afterthought. Don't let it catch you off guard, and make sure that you inspect that trailer if you're buying a used boat with a trailer. And then finally, we've got the engine. Obviously, this is the most valuable part of the boat. If your engine fails, it can be $5,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on what it is, to get that replaced, including the lower unit on a stern drive. So you want to make sure you check for things like compression, for oil leaks, for gear lube leaks. You want to check for the maintenance history if you can find it. All of those little details are going to be key when you're buying a used boat, because again, it's a huge portion of the value of that boat. And if your engine has major problems, one, it's not going to be that much fun, and it likely can get very, very expensive. If you're looking at buying a used boat, grab the Boat Buyer Toolkit. It's a 25-page toolkit. It's totally free, boatbuyerstoolkit.com, and it will help you go through all of the details on how to inspect it. Plus, check out any of the 400 plus videos that you'll find on the channel. If you're a first-time buyer, check out the First Time Boat Buyer Advice, that 2-part series. And then we have a lot of different specialty videos on inspecting bow riders, inspecting deck boats, inspecting center consoles, and check those out on the channel as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you got a question, and remember, life truly is better on a boat.